Welcome back, everyone. Breaking news today, as President Trump has signed an important executive order that has everyone talking. If you have been struggling to make ends meet, if you have been checking your bank account every day, hoping for some relief, you need to pay attention right now, because what I am about to share could change everything for your family in the coming months. We are talking about $2,000 stimulus dividend checks heading to millions of low and middle-income Americans, and we finally have a timetable for when these payments could start hitting bank accounts. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just revealed when these checks could arrive, and it is sooner than you might think. Let me get into these massive updates. The headline says it all. Holiday boost for millions of cash-strapped Americans as timetable for special $2,000 checks is finally revealed. Millions of Americans are waiting for these checks, and President Donald Trump has been talking about them repeatedly. This is not just speculation anymore. We now have concrete details about the timeline. Here is what Trump said in his recent cabinet meeting. We are going to be making a dividend to the people, and additionally, we are going to be able to reduce debt. And as time goes by over the next 2, 3, 4 years, those numbers are going to go up. And I believe that at some point in the not-too-distant future, you will not even have income tax to pay, because the money we are taking in is so great. It is so enormous that you are not going to have income tax to pay. Let that sink in. $2,000 stimulus dividend checks and potentially no income tax in the future. These are massive promises. And Trump repeated this commitment in his cabinet meeting to both his cabinet members and millions of Americans watching. This was not a casual remark. This was a deliberate statement made in front of his entire cabinet and broadcast to the nation. The term dividend is important here. Trump is framing this not as government handouts or welfare, but as Americans getting their share of the revenue the country is generating. It is a return on your investment as citizens. That is a significant shift in how we talk about direct payments to Americans. Now, here is the part everyone needs to hear. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just revealed when these payments could start arriving. According to Bessent, payments could start arriving as early as next year, and we are only days away from 2025. But here is the specific timeline. He suggested that checks could come within the first 3 months of 2026. That means we are looking at January, right after New Year, February, or March. These are the 3 crucial months to watch. Bessent said on Wednesday that he thinks we are going to see $100 to $150 billion of refunds, which could be between $1,000 to $2,000 per household. Now, the Treasury Secretary has access to all the financial data, all the revenue projections, all the budget numbers. When he gives a specific timeline like this, it is not just wishful thinking. He is looking at actual numbers and making projections based on real revenue streams. Now, I need to address something important here. The Treasury Secretary mentioned between $1,000 to $2,000, but President Trump has said multiple times that the amount is $2,000, not $1,000. So it is confirmed that the amount is $2,000. And here is why that matters. If President Trump sends $1,000 to Americans instead of the promised $2,000, it would be a chaotic situation. Trump promised $2,000, and sending $1,000 is not something that will make Americans happy. According to analysts and experts, these checks are tied to the midterm elections, which are just months away. So Trump needs to deliver on his promise to regain the trust of the American people. Think about it from a political standpoint. Trump campaigned on helping working Americans. He has made this promise publicly multiple times. If he delivers only half of what he promised, that becomes a major talking point for his opponents. Politically, he has every incentive to deliver the full $2,000. I know many people are asking why President Trump is not sending these checks before Christmas. The holidays are expensive, and many families are struggling to put presents under the tree or even put food on the table for holiday meals. But here is what you need to understand. These checks need congressional approval first. The process goes like this. First, it goes to the House, gets approved there. Then it goes to the Senate. Then it finally goes to President Trump's desk for final approval. It is going to take some time. And here is the frustrating part. When it is a bill to send billions and billions of dollars to other nations so they can survive and thrive, that gets passed overnight. But when it is something for the American people, it takes time. According to analysts and experts, that is just the reality we are dealing with. The legislative process is slow by design. But when it comes to foreign aid or military spending, somehow things move much faster. Now let me answer the biggest question everyone has. Who actually qualifies for these $2,000 checks? Trump has proposed giving payments to low and middle-income earners. But what does that actually mean? Let me give you the specific details. If you remember, just a few months ago, Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican, introduced a bill with the approval of President Trump called the American Worker Rebate Act. Under that proposal, $600 was mentioned to be given to each adult and dependent. And the requirement was simple. Anyone who makes $100,000 or less would be eligible. Now analysts and experts are saying we can take the same eligibility requirements from that bill and apply them to this $2,000 proposal. So if you are making $100,000 or less, you automatically fall into the category of low and middle-income people, and you should qualify. Here is who is covered. Seniors on Social Security. If you are receiving Social Security retirement benefits, you are eligible. These are people receiving a fixed amount every month, and they fall under the low-income category. Most Social Security recipients receive less than $2,000 per month, which puts them well below the $100,000 annual threshold. SSI recipients. If you are on Supplemental Security Income, you qualify. Even if your income is zero, you fall under that $100,000 threshold. SSI is specifically designed for people with very limited income and resources. So everyone receiving SSI should automatically qualify. SSDI recipients and people with disabilities receiving Social Security disability insurance are eligible. You are getting a fixed income, which makes you eligible for these checks. SSDI benefits are based on your work history, but most recipients receive significantly less than $100,000 annually. Veterans. VA beneficiaries are absolutely covered. If you served our country and you are receiving VA benefits, you are in line for this money. This includes veterans with service-connected disabilities, veterans receiving pension benefits, and other VA benefit recipients. Railroad retirement beneficiaries. Yes, you are included too. Railroad retirement works similarly to Social Security, but is administered separately. These beneficiaries should qualify under the same income threshold. Spousal and survivor beneficiaries. If you are receiving benefits based on your spouse's work record or as a survivor, you qualify. Many widows and widowers depend entirely on survivor benefits, and they should be included in this program. Low-income workers. If you are working but making $100,000 or less per year, you are eligible. This includes part-time workers, gig economy workers, seasonal workers, and anyone whose annual income falls below the threshold. The key point is this. Even if your income is zero, you fall under that $100,000 threshold. If you are making $1,000 a month, you fall under that $100,000 threshold. So yes, millions of seniors, disability benefit recipients, and low-income households are going to receive this $2,000 check. Here is another critical question. Are these $2,000 checks going to each household or to each adult independent? According to President Trump's statements, it will go to each adult and dependent. He said that U.S. citizens will receive $2,000. He never said it is per household. He said each U.S. citizen will receive it. So you need to keep this in mind. These $2,000 checks will go to each adult and each dependent. That means if you are a family of 4, 2 parents and 2 kids, you could be looking at $8,000 total. That is life-changing money for a lot of families. Think about what $8,000 could do for a struggling family. That could catch up on months of back rent. That could fix a broken-down car that is preventing someone from getting to work. That could pay off medical bills that have been hanging over a family's head for years. Now, some of you might be wondering, where is all this money coming from? Is this just more government spending that is going to increase the national debt? Here is what you need to know. Trump has claimed that tariffs are generating trillions of dollars in revenue. Let me show you the actual numbers from Treasury data.